I'm the proud owner of this early BMW 320i E30, and like a yuppie muppet, I lost the only key to it. In this video, I'm going to show you how I changed the door locks without a key and with only a little bit of swearing and a basic set of burglary tools. The first job is to get the door card off, which is always tricky. This car is low mileage and very original with a rare brown interior, so I'm keen to avoid doing a lot of damage, and I'll use a proper set of trim removal tools. These are of course a little bit rubbish, so I'm going to revert to using the default screwdriver for this window winder. If your car's original owner was an uppier yuppie than mine was, then you'll have electric windows anyway and you can skip this step. There are only two semi-visible screws deeply recessed under the armrest here. There's a third screw behind this mirror joystick switch, or the equivalent blanking plate if you're on the passenger side. You can prise these out with the trim tools. They're actually quite good for this. The plastics that BMW used are pretty robust. They're quite squidgy and they don't scratch easily because it's a quality motor. Trim tools are definitely also a boon when it comes to separating the door card from the door frame. I definitely recommend them for this job. Once you've undone all the trim clips around the edge and undone that third screw hidden behind the top of the armrest, you're ready to prise the door card off. It helps if you can unclip the electric mirror switch first. I did that afterwards for some reason, which looks a bit inelegant and clumsy, but nobody died. Now you've got the door card off, you can peel back the plastic weatherproofing and see the inside of the door lock. It's held in place by a big C-shaped spring clip that you need to slide out sideways. I had to go levering it out with the screwdriver and with some pliers, but it wasn't going anywhere. Time to unleash the Bulldog, my new favourite penetrating spray. This isn't sponsored, but I'm really happy to support them. They're great car and bike people, it's a small UK business, and it's really good stuff, this Bulldog BDX. I'm happy to recommend it. After a tea break's worth of soaking in the BDX, the spring clips slid out sideways relatively easily with the long nose pliers. Obviously, it immediately dropped down inside the bowels of the door, but that's not the end of the world. You just need to peel back a bit more plastic so that you can get at it. While we're there though, admire how rusty the inside of the door isn't on this car. Happy about that. It's got a bit of surfaced rust, but generally this car is actually really solid and in good condition. I will get the surface cosmetics sorted out. They're the legacy of it having been stored under a cover for many years, which chafed the paint off, and then run by somebody as a daily driver for a couple of years and stored outdoors. All quite easy to sort out though, and worth doing. With the spring clip off, you can just wiggle the door lock out from outside the car. There's a strengthening plate on the inside that I tried to stop from dropping down using a hook made from a bent welding rod. Obviously this failed, but as with the spring clip, it's not the end of the world. To retrieve it from the bottom of the door, you just need to peel back a bit more of the plastic. Unfortunately, my genuine BMW replacement locks turn out to be a slightly different shape from the originals. These early cars used a lot more metal parts. They have a metal lever here, and they've also got metal door handles, whereas most E30s used cheaper plastics. I just need to use the actual door lock part of the new ones with the lever of the originals. You can get the plastic part off by squeezing it really hard with a set of mole grips. This happened off camera because I needed both hands and quite a lot of strong language, but take my word for it, it will come off if you squeeze it hard enough. The new style lock has these lugs to hold the plastic part in place. The old one doesn't have any lugs, but it does have a hole drilled through it to take a roll pin that holds the metal lever on. So you just need to put it in a vise and knock that out with a punch and a hammer. To get the tumbler out is easy if you've got the key, which of course I do with the new one, but I don't with the old one. So there's nothing else for it but to go the full James Bond and use my cheap eBay lock picking set. This is actually quite straightforward with the right tools. It's immensely satisfying though. I promise to use this superpower only for good. With both tumblers extracted, all I need to do is to swap over the pins from one to the other, as these are the things that actually code the shape of the key to the lock. Just need to make sure and take care to keep them in the same order, and not to drop them all on the floor, which would just lead to chaos and be very upsetting. I didn't do that, thankfully. And with the new pins in the old lock, the new key will fit. It's worth noticing that having got the tumbler out, there's a number stamped on it, which is presumably the key number. I've already bought a full replacement lock set from BMW, so I'm going to carry on doing the replacement. But if I had my time again, I would know that all I need to do is to get this lock out and find that number, and then I ought to be able to get a replacement key cut. You can get aftermarket blanks. You can get genuine blanks, but they seem to be about 50 quid, which is nuts for a key blank. So my suggestion is, if you find yourself in the lost key situation yourself, look into that first before you drop a couple £100 or so on a full genuine BMW replacement lock set. Reassembly, as someone once said, is the reverse of removal. So I need to get this spring back on and hook the pointy ends of the spring over one of these castle sections, put the lever over the top, and that's got a sticky out bit that needs to go between the two springs, hammer in the roll pin, and then with the key in the lock, you can check that it works properly with it turning both ways and being returned back to the center by the spring. Then it's back to the car and you can wiggle the lock back in. Once you've got it in part way, you can hang that strengthening plate over the back of it and then maneuver the spring clip into place. This is all a bit fiddly. It's not that difficult, but it is very difficult if you're trying to film it and hold the camera at the same time. So I didn't get it on camera. You'll have to take my word for it that with a little bit of perseverance and only some mild swearing, it's actually entirely doable and not that hard. And then you're into a world of putting the door card back on, which really is the reverse of removal. I lost a couple of clips. They're pretty robust, but the plastic around them has got a bit fragile over the years. So I've ordered a set of replacements and we'll fit those when they eventually turn up from Lithuania or wherever they're coming from. But as door card refitting goes, it's actually not that difficult. I'm declaring that a win. It locks and unlocks with the smooth premium clunk you'd expect from a BMW back in the days when BMW were genuinely premium. So that's the door locks changed. If you want to see how I got on with the ignition lock, then there's a video about that and I'll put a link to it here. The next job with the BMW is to get it booked in for an MOT and then take it for a drive. So don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you don't miss that. Thanks for watching.